I want to admit this. But we're very worried about. I will be inferior to the third generation disciples. The buttocks heard this and asked. The suggestion is, I don't care about self-respect anymore. And requests. I only teach the master and the second generation disciples. That's right, Bai Tian replied. They asked me why I had to do that. It's a bit of a surprise, obviously. Middle butt continues. I told you last time. It's just more trouble to do that. There's no benefit to us. We don't need. You have to take those problems with you. What to do? White Sky said, but we are fellow disciples. We are fellow disciples. Middle Ass said, the suggestion is, Master will take his time to teach the third life disciples. SAO training. White Sky doesn't know what to say. White Sky said, if you thought that, then I have no reason to teach the third generation disciples. And I'm still teaching them. Why? Let's go back and see what happens at SAO. The clarity of thought. Why does it refuse to accept second generation disciples, but accept the third generation disciple? Blatantly uttered the words, you want to make me a pervert. Middle buttocks brandished hand pleased face. It's my urge not to turn me into one. I've never said that before. White Sky said, but even though SAO Hoa Sen also has its own rules. The middle of your arm says this. The urgent question. I have seen the third generation of disciples. Have you practiced yet? White Sky thought back and said, think openly. They're rolling around like squirrels. Chinese Cotton said, then it's easier for us to talk. Master urged, can we teach our second generation disciples the same? As for the brothers, we can do whatever we want. If we treat our nuns that way, the priests will not leave me alone. To think clearly. It means it can be done. It's just talking about problems that can arise. Not that it won't work. Remember the third generation disciples who fought. Jump up and you can fight the other side. You can win. Blindly contemplative. Blatantly uttered the words. Of course, the teacher will be a disciple. All the time, I only teach all second generation disciples. I will respect you as a teacher. The middle of the ass said. You are only asking while teaching. Not after training is done. The priests came back to curse me. Then we know how. Middle buttocks require. If you do, you have to do it thoroughly. The teachers do not distinguish the time. If not, I'm not going to teach the monks anything. Silently silent, not to say. Vividly remember the attack I was watching. The desire to do that rises. Tell middle ass. From this moment on, I am no longer a spy. Obviously guaranteed. 01 second generation disciples of Hua Sect. You are allowed to use your position to pressure me. Please make sure my name is safe. Looking happy, smiling and thinking. Bite the hook. To the next day. Third generation disciples just went out and discussed. Even if you practice like this every day, but we still can't get used to it. AI is also a bit lethargic pessimistic. I don't know if it will work or not. But even if it's SAO, we're happier these days. They just walked out, they were surprised. I saw the second generation students standing in line. Tidy front. Everyone is surprised too. What's going on? The monks ended. At this point, the middle buttocks are coming from behind Ra. Ask your ass what this is. It's early in the morning. The nuns lined up, just in front of Bok Mai Viet. So, middle buttocks banging on the shoulder, Chun Cotton said, "Brother, you've been working hard. It hurts me to know the last time how much you've been pushed by the monks. The Chinese believe that the people who push us are letting us go." Chinese Cotton sly smile. "But now you can rest assured." My ass continues. "Because starting today, a beautiful world will begin, where everyone is equal. During practice will be opened. Chun Cotton is surprised everyone is equal." Chun Cotton looked at the worried nuns. "Maybe it's a hell of a place." He laughed and said, "There's no such thing." He banged his hand. "The teachers will be very impressed today. When you see the drivers volunteer to practice like this, then go ahead and tell the teachers." The nuns all know it's called training if it's hard. If the nuns feel refreshed after the end of training, that's not training. As soon as the training is done, they have to swear. I was so exhausted, I couldn't hold my chopsticks. Have to put your head down at the table. That's the real training. Middle buttocks continue the teaching. Become strong. It's not a road full of roses. Roll all out. That's the only way to be strong. If the monks urge to believe and obey the teacher, then the forces will become stronger. Do you understand? The students of life are clear. My ass is laughing. That's it. It's this spirit and this yearning to learn. Look, people, Chun Cotton and Yo Gold aesthetics. After a while of facing someone else's captor, let go of the gold in Ra's mouth as it is. I can't believe there are times I was proud to see the nuns. It's like this. My ass says, "Well, let's start with the basics." Then I turned to my brothers. "Brothers, what are you doing?" "It's hard for everyone to understand." Middle ass said, "You have to be direct. It's just muscle movement. Give it a boost." The third generation disciples heard that and became demons, turned to look at the nuns. "Ah, that's it. And then he's got a bunch of training equipment." The students in the third year are happy. Try to finish a session, they will cry for 9 months and 10 days. And these spies, it will make the cry of the saints louder. Look at the rocks. Even the students in the third grade were a little scared. The Chinese laughed when they saw that. You'll be surprised, kids. A person goes to the front of the middle butt. My ass asked me again. Jesus said, "I want you to teach me." The middle buttocks replied, "Tell someone else to teach." Jesus said, "But no one came to me." A person who was yelled at by 2 people fighting. Why did 2 people come to teach me that? What about my teacher? My teacher is playing there. Look at the butt, sighing. He said, "Even if you cry." I also absolutely do not teach the master. The girl replied, "I want to learn how to watch my ass." It's tough as leeches. There's no leech hanging around like this. Save Jesus said, "If we can stand this, I can also use my sword. It makes the flowers bloom, right?" Middle butt. Why do you all say such strange things? He repeated his brother's instructions. I have to tell you something. If you are a painter, then you can't get a job for the flowers to bloom. Be a target, because it's just a process. In the ass, confidently tell people, remember our goal carefully, is to complete the swordsmanship that makes the flowers bloom. Sewing Jesus in wonder. She closed her eyes and remembered her father. In the ass thinking. Previously, I was only interested in my own power, without paying attention to your brother's martial arts. Because at the time, I thought it was inevitable. But it's different now. There are things we can't solve alone. Because the opponent of Hoa painted later, it's not just a stalker. It's the other factions on the gypsies. To some point, when these kids grow up, can make the flower bloom and back up behind. My back. Then we'll send them all to hell. And unified martial arts, and then we'll carve tomorrow's flowers. The bald heads of the boys. If you look like a big chicken butt, start walking. Someone looked down from a distance. I see this scene. It's the turn of White Death. Your boss is talking to someone. Let it be, though. We can't hold that child forever. He continued, if you continue to intervene and lead it, then maybe we're not going to be an obstacle in its way. No. We are old, and the sun is setting. So what we have to do now? It's about helping his path shine. Don't say anything right away. Brother-in-Chief continued. So trust me and let it be. The boy is religious, so it won't go wrong. The United States. Although we have a lot of questions. That's why it can make the flowers bloom. Why does it have such incredible power? And also its unknowns. Look, General Butt is reminding people to open waist raw. Whoever can't stand 2 hours, I will beat him to death. Come thought on. But we can't make him alert. Just because of my questions. I guess the Tao is flowing and embracing it. No matter who the middle butt is, then we have no reason not to hold a disciple like him in your arms. Because the religion is flowing inside of it. Now part of the teaching job has been handed back to the middle butt, but we're not allowed to have free hands either. We have to make an effort to keep up with the growing. At least let the dry become a burden for the children. To think freely. If we ask him to teach us, are we being too greedy? The middle of the ass screamed again. These guys are coming. You can't stand in the right position anymore. Middle butt, after training with the brothers, went up the mountain. Sitting on top, he thought. I have now crossed a mountain. But the road must go ahead. Still 1,000 miles away. Process to achieve the achievements of the third generation disciples. It's not called slow. This one comes to one. One day, they'll be masters. The whole world does not dare to ignore. It feels like there's a weight on my shoulders. Then out. This is the mood of a mentor. If at that time, I am in the same mood as now. Is that so? Can turn the fate of the brothers. And paint flowers not. I've been thinking. These are just things of the past. Important work. It's not about getting caught up in the past. You have to take the past as a stepping stone to live on. We need to know how to reach for a better future. You just think and look at it. You're glad to see it. It's a little slow, but very sure. It's slowly growing every day. There's no shortcut. I want to climb step by step. Don't stop. Try to climb on your own 2 feet. To achieve true martial arts. Paint in the future. Certain we must escape the protection of this mountain. And reach out to the world. Until then, they will have to face the brutality of gangsters. It's never been done before. When it needs to be, create a place they can trust and rely on. It doesn't matter if it's my ass or the mountain. You look at your hand and you think, to be able to do that, we have to be stronger. It is not the future of the past, but as the current states as. Come on, come on. And at some point, I'll get past that ghost. Are pondering. Young Moon's voice suddenly called out. Your morning flower is already blooming. You turn around in bewilderment, but maybe it's just imagination. He shook his head, of course not. But it will bloom at some point. My own tomorrow. When the future of Chung But's own brother, at the tip of the sword, it's not just paint, but the whole world will be turned upside down by the smell of sweet flowers. You don't have to worry, master. You should remember. You are Chung Bang. Said the boy, turned his back and returned to the sect. Just like that, the spring of Hoa Sun with the flowers in full bloom is slowly passing by. Dreaming like that and thinking like that. Blooming and fading and blooming and fading again. The future of the world has twice blossomed and died. The months of the year still go on like that. It's like running water. Softly, that flows away. Until one day, a boy is trying to climb the mountain. To the top. He breathed red and said he was finally there. Where this is. This is the mountain. He looked at the sign and thought. Since the show 2 years ago, I really felt it. The position of the current paint has completely changed. It's like the kind of mountain I used to know. It's not that clean and bright. Either way, if your father's judgment is not wrong, then everything must be fine. Then he went to the gate and knocked and asked, Is there anyone? You silently observe. For a long time. Say it loud again. Are there any visitors to Hoa Sun? But there's still no response. The boy thought, if anyone had heard it, it would have been by now. In a moment, someone opened the gate. The boy was delighted. The person inside Ra opened the gate. Is Bak Jiang? He asked. Who's that? The young man replied, Down. Down to the quarter, with a request to be presented. Head of paint. Bak Jiang said again, Today is not a guest day. Please come back tomorrow. He was stunned and asked why. He thought. There's no AI up the mountain today. So tomorrow, I have to go up this mountain again. That's a bit of a loss. You don't pray. Wait a minute. Sorry, but there's no other way. You must meet the chief of the noble. North to make snow landing. There really is no other way. Because today is not the day to welcome foreigners. If you have something urgent, please come back tomorrow. The boy shouted at Chen. You're not a foreigner. Put the luggage on your back. Put your back. Cho Bak Jiang looked and said, Here is Wei Minor, who came from Hoa Sun's family. The current school of photography has a pressing task. You must definitely meet the chief. I knew I was wrong when I went up the mountain, without understanding the rules of the noble. But even so, then please, the director can hear through the situation of the photo buying flower, then pass it on to the chief. Can you help me lower it? At this time, Bak Jiang just broke out to ask Hoa Photo Sao. You have just come from the land of Hoa Sun. A photo shoot? And then you lead the asteroid inside. Inside at the moment, the elders had gathered enough before. The boy laughed and said, Ha 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 ha. So I said I came from Hoa Photo Star. In the secular schools, it is only the Holy Spirit that brings it together. Even every penny regularly sent to flower paint during the last 35 years. Why is it a flower? Look at you tattered like this. He is a true disciple of the Buddha. Ha 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 ha. What's the matter with you here? As much as you want. Just tell me, I'll solve it for you. The little girl is embarrassed to tell you that. You can't believe what your eyes are thinking. Suddenly, I was so well received. The owners say there is a lack of money. If it's about money, just say it. I'll lend it to you at a very cheap rate. The boy replied, No, that's not it. I can't help but get angry and stand up. This bastard. I'm scared to say, I know. You know, just shut up. Every time I do something, you're like that. Master glanced at the beauty. I don't know when you'll grow up. Think about it, you ask. Okay, looks like you're less stressed. So let's keep talking. What are you doing in Hoa-san? Answer immediately. Yes, Chief. The photo shoot has encountered a big disaster. So my father sent me here. Please ask for the help of Hoa-san. Brother Chong asked, if it's help. How do you want us to help? He continued with middle S. I want to invite the dragon god. Middle but, the hero of the order is with you. The whole room suddenly became strange. The elders were surprised. The chief bowed his voice and asked, Your name is Wei Zhao Zhao, right? Yes, chief, you say it loud. You asked not to. I've just started to get straight to the point. That's it. Can you explain your love to me first? The young man now realized and replied to me. Sorry, the situation is so urgent. Actually, it all started when there was a dojo. It's called the dojo. It's open on the opposite side of the camera. That church just appeared with the status of the secularist sect of O is. It was hard. It attracts people who want to practice martial arts on their side, but because the flower, it's done a lot of good in South Africa. So people didn't follow them. But they've changed their approach and start to target the subject directly. Father and son photo of the owner. Because I can't help it. The constant provocation of the. So he fought with the owner. But unfortunately, my father lost and was seriously injured. If it ends there, I didn't come all the way here. It seems that the church conspired. They want to get us out of South Africa. That, I heard they even asked for support from Vo. My father heard that. Vo's disciples are coming. That's why I sent you. My father told me to find the chief and ask for help. I heard that in my whiskers. If you say that the Vo's customs are, it's a place that seeks the path. Why is it possible? Minor says next subject. Please help me with the photo. If the paint does not help, then the photo gallery will have to take down the comedy. They're infidels with no equal. You in silence thinking. Obviously, this is a problem. Hoa-san can't stand and watch. Because now, it's time to separate ourselves from the outside. A way to measure the strength of a group. How big is it? Is the number of secularists of that sect. If you want to get your reputation back, then now, don't just take care of internal management. From now on, we must step by step increase the amount of water. Just like the past. Among the second-generation disciples, some of them are going to come down the mountain and build a dojo. This is not merely a matter of the master. If you look wide, you can say that this is what determines the eyes of the world. Look at the paint. But the solution to this problem? Thought. He asked his son what he wanted to do with his ass. You answer right away, yes, my father has told me so many times. You must invite him. Hoa painted the dragon butt chief, the hero of the order, defeated all of them alone 2 years ago. The master just replied, that's right, there are no wrong words, but I thought. Looks like the rumors are wrong. In front of me, I understand what you mean. We have something we need to discuss separately. So I'm going to go outside for a while. Understand the asteroid bowed to everyone and walked out. The door just closed. He slammed his hands down on the table and shouted, now we have to let the kids go. To go and bite those bruised bastards. Hoa photo subject. Where do they dare to be so wild? Wee Sang also spoke up. Master brother, this can't be thought through. Hoa Sanvo is still a tough opponent, even if it's a real business. But from the past, now, let's start with the subject matter. Then Lan expanded to the battle between the mountains, has become quite frequent. The director also understood that and nodded, I also followed the chief. There seem to be 2 things we need to think about. The first problem, is this the right time? To paint Hoa to relaunch foreign activities, or not, it doesn't matter what we think. Once Hoa's son sent his disciples down the mountain, confronted with martial arts, people in the world will think, Hoa's son, we have started our foreign activities. The second problem is whether our disciples. It is possible that the disciples of Vo are. Or not. What's wrong with asking that? There's one problem that's much more important than those 2. That is, should we release that boy Ra or not? As soon as I took my word, the whole room started to get nervous. The master sighed. Ask Gum what she thinks. The guards were silent from the beginning of the day. You don't have to think much. Send the boy away. And at some point, the ass. You will also have to step out of the water. Procrastinating is not the right thing to do. If the extension of time can make that boy a martyr. I will also object, but even if it's only a dream, it can't be real. If so, you have to send it. They must be beaten in any way. It is better to eat a little earlier. I asked you if you think so. Then he laughed and said, that's right. That's a stupid question. Then he came back and asked ma'am, what's your ass doing right now? I replied that not long ago he went to a retreat. Not out yet. As far as you know, it's almost done. But that, the master said again, all right, call Chun Cotton. The student was called. After hearing the whole story, you suddenly asked how far away. Who said after the middle butt ended its retreat, I'm leaving. Go to a place far away. In response, you are the head coach. I can't believe you're asking the person who's telling you the truth. Suddenly, he covered his mouth with his hand before he finished. Give orders to your son. Let's bring the guest from Hoa Hin Mon. Meet Chinese Cotton. Maybe his ass will go a long way with him. So by the way, you through the middle of the butt. Let him know. Yes, he replied. Then you two go out together. I walked and watched Chun Cotton and thought, he doesn't seem very old to me. But that, and then I feel completely different. It's like a big lake. A vast lake of deep water. The so-called foot paint disciples' capital, so Sao. After a long walk, he asked, then you falter. Chun Cotton said softly, please tell me. He asked, what kind of person is the head of the middle buttocks? Not now. There is no one who knows the name Hua Sun God Dragon, the head of the middle buttocks. However, since that time, the council has movement of the middle buttocks chief, not transmitted outside, so everybody's curious about that. Some say it's a sword. It's a scary atmosphere. There are people. He said that he was a great warrior with no equal. Chun Cotton startled after the 9 stars question and asked, Dai Shu. People in the world say that. Not really say that, Sao. The little boy said yes. Chun Cotton sounds so aesthetic. Did I hear that wrong? Then you say. Then hearing from my own mouth, Ra. The lower, it will be better to see him and feel it in person. Then they both walked away. In front of a large cliff, Chun stopped and explained. This place is called the Amoy. That's where we go whenever we want to practice, or want to understand something that can avoid the annoyance of others. The asteroid was very surprised. If you ask me that, the chief comes here because I want to learn something new. Chun Cotton walked close to the cliff and said, wait a minute, I'm going to call Middle Butt. In front of the cave, he hesitated to think. Later, you just close your mouth and call out in a very low voice. Middle ass, middle ass. But no one answered. Seeing that, he said, it seems that the middle butt is working hard, so I can't hear my call. The young man stood there helplessly thinking, if you call him that, you can hear him. Chun turned and moved on, push the back of the asteroid and say, it seems to be too focused, haha. Let's go back today. We both took a few steps. Then part of the cliff suddenly crumbled. It's like there's AI acting on it. The rocks are flying around. The man's shadow is coming out. The asteroid turned around to observe. Then I thought, he is the one who defeated alone. Second-generation disciple of the South, Kim Long Sao frequency. It's after Kai too, counting on fingers all over the world. Hoa Sun God Long. That guy slowly walked out. His voice spoke. Every damn day, every piece of shit. It almost made me die. His body is clearly visible. That's why I'm not going to do anything. He continued. He looked up and said, I took my head and swore I'd never carry it again. I took my head out. The guy who's screaming is called Jung Min. Surprise minor. You don't believe in yourself. It doesn't seem like that person. Why would that be? The dust is flying. General Buttocks brush shoulders for dust say. God damn it, it's so dusty. The boy looked over and thought. Who is this? Maybe this person is the dragon god. In addition to the attitude of not raw, if you can feel it. This person is not ordinary at all. Body balance appearance is also real. The cute boy looks like he admires you. Maya said today. Size, no, there are still 3 days. You said. Not today, so what are you doing here? The master is looking for you. You talk in your face again. The chief sees me as pitiful. You should tell me not to shut up anymore. Of course, the chief liked me. Suddenly, the brother interrupted. No, it seems like something happened. What are you wondering about? He looked at me and asked who this person was. Chan Cotton said, this one is missing the asteroid. He is the man of the flower. You said that with a smile. Look at that guy, you think. The flower is one of the secular sects. The house of paint. I kept thinking that. The secular sects are all gone. There is still a place that exists to this day. Chun asked when he saw you laughing. I know how to paint. You know why I know Kier? You said yes. Let's go to the head teacher first. To hear the details of everything, what you said, go ahead. Hurry up, and let's go first. You just go and sing. I finally got to taste the meat. The other two are looking at you. Students of Hoa students think. He is also a disciple of Sun. But that attitude, it's so different from the attitude of a shaman. Look at the back. It's like a gangster on the street. The Chinese have told the way asteroids that we should go. When I heard you call, you said yes. We're not looking for a dragon flower anymore. The chief said earlier, I came here to see the dragon god. I quietly look at you. Then speak up. I don't know what the Dragon Ball is. It's like the guy the asteroid's looking for is Kier. You give people raw when you hear that. Maybe the Kier. That's Chu's ass. Chun Cotton just said to continue to run. Don't be surprised. There's still a lot of surprises. The middle buttocks are still innocently tossing and singing. People they also went to. He slammed his ass on the table and said, so is. The profane vow are. It's not just our profanities. They even call the bad priests. From the foot of the mountain. You are in the right. Crazy blood has reached your brain, he said. You bastards dare to do that. Master, don't worry. I will handle this case myself. You confidently clap your chest. Chinese clams are tired of asking what you intend to do. What else do you say? Run to Indonesia, immediately, of course, and smash the heads of those guys at the bar. What else do you remind me of? You're angry, but you fix it. It must be the temple. In short, I will pick the heads of all the martial arts. Fire bar. And make them never set foot in Indonesia again. What did you say? Set fire to that place. It's a tavern. This crazy guy. You are not afraid to say that the temple is burning. Standing in front of the fire, the southern or Hoa sun tone is equal. It's all about religion. Why did you drag paint in here? We've been burned down before. The elder wondered. We can actually send this kid to SAO. The gum also whispered in his ear, he said. I think we need to reconsider. The two of them are still fighting. It's not about protecting people. He gave me a bribe. In the area that I manage that SAO. If not, what to do?